Okay, so look, 60 years, 25 films, $7 billion. Mission Impossible's been around for what, like 27 years?
Right, but Tom Cruise hanging off an actual airplane at 5,000 feet, that doesn't count because why exactly?
Whoa, I didn't say it doesn't count. I'm saying it's a gimmick. Bond has been doing incredible action sequences for 60 years without the lead actor, breaking bones.
Without the lead actor doing the stunts at all, that's the whole point. Cruise does everything himself. I mean, that's dedication.
It's reckless, and it's just marketing. Look at Tom Cruise risk his life. That's a PR campaign. It's not filmmaking.
A PR campaign? Seriously? He broke his ankle jumping between buildings in Fallout and he finished the take. You can actually see it in the movie. That's commitment.
Right, and then production shut down for 6 weeks and cost the studio millions. Yeah, very responsible.
Okay, but the scene is incredible. That's the difference. Mission Impossible, it feels real because, well, it is real.
And Bond feels timeless because it doesn't need those kinds of stunts to carry it. The franchise has lasted, what, 60 plus years through 7 different actors? Mission Impossible has lasted, what, 27 years with just one guy?
Yeah, a guy who happens to be the biggest movie star on the planet. And the franchise is just getting better with each film. I mean, Fallout has 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. 97. When's the last time a Bond film got anywhere near that?
Well, Skyfall got 88%, won 2 Oscars, and made over $1 billion. It was the first Bond film to cross that threshold.
Okay, look, Skyfall is incredible. I'll give you that one. But one great film doesn't make the whole franchise better. The last 4 Mission Impossible movies, they're all 93% or higher. That's what I call consistency.
Right, and Bond has 25 films over 6 decades. That's legacy. You can't compare 7 films to 25.
Why not? It's quality over quantity. I'd rather have 7 great films than 25 where, let's be honest, half of them are mediocre.
Half? Come on, that's just disrespectful. Casino Royale, GoldenEye, The Spy Who Loved Me, From Russia to Love, Goldfinger.
Okay, and Die Another Day, and Quantum of Solace, and seriously, how many of the Roger Moore films are actually good?
Hey, the Roger Moore era it's campy fun. That's part of Bond's charm. It reinvents itself every decade.
By changing actors. That's not reinvention, that's just recasting.
It's brilliant. Every generation gets their Bond. Connery for the 60s, Moore for the 70s, Brosnan for the 90s, Craig for the 2000s. That's adaptability.
Or it's a franchise that can't figure out what it wants to be. Is Bond a suave gentleman spy or, I don't know, a gritty Jason Bourne clone?
He's both. That's the beauty of it. Bond can be campy with Moore, serious with Dalton, emotional with Craig. The formula allows for that flexibility.
The formula's also tired. Bond, James Bond, Martini, Aston Martin, Bond girl, villain with an elaborate lair. We've seen it 1,000 times.
Because it works. Those are iconic elements that audiences love. Mission Impossible doesn't have anything close to that level of cultural recognition.
Mission Impossible has Tom Cruise doing the impossible. That's the hook. And it's working. The franchise box office has grown with each film. Well, except Dead Reckoning, but that was a pandemic hangover.
Bond's total box office is $7.8 billion.
Across 25 films. Mission Impossible has made, what, 3.5 billion across 7 films? That's an average of 510 million per film. Bond averages 312 million.
Because Bond's been around since 1962. You can't just adjust for inflation and cultural context like that.
Well, I can adjust for quality, and critically, Mission Impossible is destroying Bond right now.
Right now is the key phrase. Bond's been culturally relevant for 60 years. Mission Impossible has been around for less than 3 decades.
And in those 3 decades, it's perfected the action genre. Fallout is considered one of the best action films ever made.
By who?
Ooh, by critics. 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, 86 on Metacritic. It's not just good, it's a masterpiece.
One masterpiece doesn't make the franchise better than Bond's entire catalog.
It's not one masterpiece. Rogue Nation, Ghost Protocol, Dead Reckoning, all above 90%. That's 4 films in a row that are critically acclaimed.
And Skyfall is one of the best spy films ever made. Roger Deakins won an Oscar for cinematography. Adele won for the theme song.
Skyfall's great, yeah, but it's surrounded by Quantum of Solace and Spectre. Mission Impossible it doesn't have those dips.
Spectre made $880 million.
And has a 63% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's barely fresh.
It's still profitable and entertaining. Not every film needs to be a critical darling.
If you're claiming to be the greatest franchise, then yeah, they do.
Look, Bond is the greatest franchise because it's been around the longest, it has the most cultural impact, and it created the entire spy genre as we know it.
Created it in 1962. It's 2025. What's Bond doing now that's innovative?
No Time to Die killed Bond. Literally, the character died. When has a franchise ever taken that kind of risk?
And then what? They'll just reboot him in 5 years with a new actor. It's not a risk if you can just undo it.
It was emotionally devastating. Craig's Bond sacrificed himself to save his family. That's a depth Mission Impossible just doesn't have.
Ethan Hunt's relationships with Julia and Ilsa are incredibly emotional. He struggles, he fails, he gets hurt. He's human in a way Bond never is.
Bond's fantasy, that's the appeal. He's suave, sophisticated, always wins, always gets the girl.
And that's dated. The whole gets the girl thing it's problematic.
Which is why Craig's Bond evolved. He fell in love, he got married, he had a child. The franchise adapts.
After decades of Bond girls being disposable eye candy, Mission Impossible has Rebecca Ferguson as Ilsa Faust, who's a fully realized character and a complete equal to Ethan.
Fair point, but Bond has Vesper Lynd, M, played by Judi Dench, Madeline Swan.
In the last few films, for 50 years, Bond girls were... Let's just say the franchise hasn't aged well in that department.
Okay, I'll concede that. But cultural impact isn't just about how well something ages, it's about influence.
And Mission Impossible's influence is stunts. Every action franchise now is trying to do practical effects because Cruise proved it works.
Every spy franchise is trying to be Bond. Mission Impossible, Kingsman, Jason Bourne, they're all riffing on the template that Bond created.
Riffing on it and improving it. Bourne made spy films gritty, Mission Impossible made them spectacles.
And Bond adapts to those changes. Casino Royale went gritty after Bourne, Skyfall went epic after Mission Impossible.
Though Bond's just following trends? That's not leadership, that's reacting.
It's called staying relevant for 60 years. You have to adapt or you die.
Mission Impossible doesn't adapt, it innovates. Ghost Protocol had Cruise scale the Burj Khalifa. Rogue Nation had him hanging off a plane. Fallout had a halo jump. What's Bond's equivalent?
The opening ski chase in Spy Who Loved Me, the parkour case in Casino Royale, the train fight in Skyfall.
All done with stunt doubles and CGI.
And they're still incredible sequences. You don't need the actor to actually do it for it to be great cinema.
You kind of do, though. There's something about knowing Cruise is actually doing it that makes it more thrilling.
That's the stunt overshadowing the story. Good action should serve the narrative, not be the narrative.
But Mission Impossible's action does serve the narrative. The stunts aren't just spectacle, they're character moments that show Ethan's determination.
Bond's action does the same thing. The poker game in Casino Royale is action through tension. The Aston Martin chase shows Bond using his resources.
Okay, but let's talk directors. Christopher McQuarrie has directed the last 3 Mission Impossible films, and they're all 93% or higher. That's consistency.
Bond changes directors, which keeps it fresh. Sam Mendes did Skyfall and Spectre. Martin Campbell did GoldenEye and Casino Royale. Different visions keep the franchise from getting stale.
Or it creates inconsistency. Spectre is a huge step down from Skyfall, and it's the same director.
Because he tried something different. Not everything works, but at least Bond takes risks.
Mission Impossible takes risks. Fallout's entire third act is Henry Cavill with a mustache fighting Tom Cruise. Dead Reckoning has a train falling off a bridge.
A real train?
A real practical effect train. They built the sequence practically and crashed it for real. That's
Same.
That's Mission Impossible. They don't do things the easy way, they do them the right way.
And Bomb's the right way to build a franchise. You create a character bigger than any one actor, bigger than any one film. That's longevity.
Tom Cruise is Mission Impossible. Without him, there's no franchise.
Which is a problem. When he retires or, I don't know, falls off a cliff for real, the franchise is over.
He's not going to fall off a cliff. He's Tom Cruise. He'll still be doing stunts at 70.
Probably, but Bond will outlive Cruise. There'll be a new Bond in 5 years and the franchise will continue.
As a reboot no one asked for. Meanwhile, Mission Impossible 7 is going to be incredible and everyone's excited.
Plenty of people are excited for the next Bond. Whoever gets cast will be massive news.
Because of the legacy, not because of the movies, the last few Bond films haven't been that great.
No Time to Die made $774 million during a pandemic.
And Dead Reckoning made $567 million with a pandemic hangover and actor strikes. Context matters.
Okay, both franchises are still commercially viable, but only one has 60 years of history, cultural penetration, and the theme song everyone can hum.
You want to talk theme songs? Let's talk scores. Lauren Balfi's Fallout score is incredible. The music during the Halo jump is perfect.
But is it the Bond theme? Can you hum it right now?
Now,
Exactly. The Bond theme is universal. It's been in every film since 1962. That's cultural DNA.
that's also repetitive. Mission Impossible remixes its theme in different ways every film.
Because it doesn't have the confidence to stick with one iconic version.
Or because it evolves, just like the franchise.
Bond evolves too. Daniel Craig's era was completely different from Pierce Brosnan.
Because they rebooted it. Mission Impossible is one continuous story across 7 films. There's actual character development.
There's character development in Craig's Bond too. He goes from a cold-blooded killer to a man capable of love and sacrifice.
Over 5 films spanning 15 years. Ethan Hunt's arc is tighter and more consistent.
Because there's only one actor. Look, we're going in circles here.
Because you won't admit Mission Impossible is the better franchise.
It's not. It's newer and yeah, flashier, but that doesn't make it better.
Okay, final arguments. Let's settle this.
You're not going to like mine.
Oh, I'm definitely not gonna like yours.
James Bond is the greatest spy franchise because it transcended film to become a cultural institution. 60 plus years, 25 films, 7 actors, $7.8 billion. Bond created the spy genre as we know it. The gadgets, the exotic locations, the villain layers, all of it. The theme song is universally recognized across generations. Bond, James Bond, is the most famous character introduction in cinema history, and the franchise has proven it can reinvent itself across 6 decades while maintaining its core appeal. Skyfall showed Bond could be prestige cinema winning Oscars. No Time to Die showed it could take genuine emotional risks by killing its protagonist. Every spy movie since 1962 has been influenced by Bond. Mission Impossible is great, but Bond is eternal. That's the difference between a franchise and a legend.
Okay, Mission Impossible is the greatest spy franchise because it represents modern filmmaking at its absolute peak. Tom Cruise's commitment to practical stunts has redefined what action cinema can be. Hanging off planes, scaling the Burj Khalifa, halo jumping, breaking his ankle, and finishing the take. The last 4 films are all 93% or higher on Rotten Tomatoes. That's unprecedented consistency Bond can't match. Fallout is considered one of the best action films ever made, with 97% critical approval. The franchise has grown commercially over 27 years instead of declining. Christopher McQuarrie's direction has brought creative consistency. Ethan Hunt is more relatable and human than Bond's fantasy figure. And in an age of CGI and green screens, Mission Impossible champions real stunts, real locations, real danger. Bond has history. Mission Impossible has excellence. That's the difference between legacy and being the best right now.
Though it's legacy versus current excellence.
6 decades of cultural impact versus 3 decades of critical perfection.
The franchise that created the template versus the franchise that perfected execution.
And neither of us is budging.
Because they're both great for completely different reasons.
Bond defined what spy movies could be.
And Mission Impossible redefined what action movies should be.
Right. One gave us the formula, the other gave us the future.
Bond gave us 7 different actors playing one iconic character.
Mission Impossible gave us one actor becoming an icon.
Shaken, not stirred.
Hanging off a plane.
The Aston Martin DB5.
The Burj Khalifa climb.
60 years of relevance.
27 years of excellence.
And here's what I know. When they cast the new Bond in a few years, the world will stop to watch.
And when Mission Impossible 8 comes out, we'll see something we've never seen before, because that's what Tom Cruise does.
Bond will outlive us all. There'll be a Bond in 2050.
And Mission Impossible will still be making better films than Bond is right now.
You can't prove that.
97% on Rotten Tomatoes proves it.
$7.8 billion proves mine.
This is the most pointless debate we've ever had.
And we're never going to agree.
Never, because you value history and I value quality.
I value both. I just think Bond has more of each.
And I think Mission Impossible has surpassed its teacher,
Its teacher is still teaching.
while the student is getting straight A's.
That's the worst metaphor you've used yet.
But you know I'm right.
I know nothing of the sort. Bond forever.
Mission Impossible currently and for the foreseeable future.
We'll see what happens when Cruise retires.
We'll see what happens when they reboot Bond again and nobody cares.
People will care. They always care about Bond.
Because of what it was, not what it is.
And that's the legacy that makes it the greatest franchise of all time.